Merhaba, and welcome back to the Ottoman campaign in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. Are these brand new? No, this one has been in combat before, I can tell because the ammo is short. But this one I think is just launched. Perhaps. Let's see. Yeah, we are at more than 200,000 tons of free capacity. That means we can unsuspend these two. At least for a couple of months until the until I need the capacity again. Yeah, I think this one was just completed. And we're not that far off from getting these two in service. They're being built in Veracruz, where I will probably need them. It's here, yes. My army is attacking Guatemala from both sides. So that's good. That means southeast Mexico should be safe for a bit. Meaning that those battlecruisers being built here can actually do some work. That's the big battle force from the previous episode. It hadn't actually arrived here yet, but sometimes the game just gives you a battle anyway. The British task force that was here, we sank it. So the game just hasn't updated yet. Anyway, we got a couple of battles to play. One battle and one convoy battle. Let's do this one first. These will once again sink a trio of French cruisers. These nuts. Maybe I should rename it to something in Turkish. It is a Scandinavian-built ship that I got as war operations. Its name, Dees, is a kind of fog. That's what it means. Or haze, really. The more correct translation. So the French heavy cruiser has been spotted. It's the same as the one from the previous battle. It's got very decent armor for a cruiser. It's got decent firepower, although I am surprised that these are only Mark 4, not Mark 5. I've had Mark 5 10s for a while now. I wonder if during the years before I found a fix for the thing that caused the AI economies to just collapse constantly, that their research really suffered for it. But now that I know what is wrong, I can prevent that from happening in the next campaign. 14.5, so I've opened up. That one shell is gonna hit. Didn't do anything, but it hit. Let's see, 16.5 kilometer torpedoes, 20.7s. Drop you down to your cruising speed. They're firing HE, or that is what the ship has selected to fire. Not really doing much. I said. And it did that. And there we go. We switched to AP now. But the secondary is to target the first of the light cruisers. Let's get it with all those secondaries firing. That is a lot of 6-inch guns. And I'm happy to see they all work. So I was a little bit worried about that. The ship designer was giving me mixed signals whether or not it was gonna work. Anyway, that first light cruiser has launched torpedoes. This one has 2. And Guyane has also launched. So 1 torpedo detonate here. So those torpedoes are going to end up here, I think. Let's see, Marriott took some main gun hits. Yeah, her torpedoes are done. At least the deck launchers. Drop you down to your cruising speed, which is quite impressive. Yeah, she is not loving life, this light cruiser. Is that the secondaries back to HE? In Vanilla, I'd run the secondaries on max HE and only fire that, but in this mod, the partial pens just don't do much. At least the AP here should be able to go through some extended belts and superstructure. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I almost ran straight into those. Yeah, I did not see she'd launched from both sides. Yeah, no. She didn't have her torpedoes knocked out. She just ran out of torpedoes. So she's got reduced torpedo ammunition. One of the 10-inch guns on Guyane actually fired. Scored a bit of a flooding hit there. 4-belt pen. thought she was too healed over to fire. Well, she is now. She's got no ammo left even. So I knocked out some turrets. Still need to get some flooding on that, on the midship section. That third inner belt is just a bit too thick. Back to HE. There we go. If I can't flood you out, I'm at least going to take away your structure. HE on the primaries, AP on the secondaries. And there we go. Sunk. Structural damage. A couple HE main belt pens. No, that was not HE, that was AP. That's what she's firing. Yeah, because the HE would not go through that. And there we go. Very nice. Yeah, France, if you could just keep sending 3 cruisers up against this battle cruiser, that would be appreciated. Right, and then the convoy battle here in the outer Oslo Fjord. You got Gyrtep operating out of, I think she's in Copenhagen actually. And 2 of my light cruisers. We found a convoy consisting of 1 ship, escorted by 4 destroyers, a light and a heavy cruiser. So it's got to be something valuable, right? Let's pretend that's the case and see if we can make that transport ship surrender instead of sinking it. Of course, in the game that doesn't matter. A surrendered transport just counts as a sunk transport. Merrick, you are actually better off following Gyrtep, because you got the same top speed, 32 knots. Mehmed Pasha, you're a bit slower. One of these old things that I actually really like, because they're only 4,500 tons. They don't cost much. And because they're so small, they're difficult to hit. 4,500 tons is well within the range where they get that target small size modifier to accuracy. It's a surprise. You do not have any surprises for me. No torpedoes. But there's also a heavy cruiser there somewhere, and a bunch of destroyers. So this is the last one of these ones with the 12-inch guns. I built some modified copies with 13s. This is the last one with the 12s. So a bit undergunned for a battlecruiser, but it's intended as a kind of a cruiser killer. And that's what we're gonna attempt to do here. Ahmed Pasha is just gonna try and launch some torpedoes at long range. Gürtep is already targeting that heavy cruiser. 28.8. Let's say 29. So for that transport, I'm gonna try and prevent my battlecruiser from targeting it. And only try and get it with the secondary guns from one of the light cruisers. Because 3 and 2-inch guns, that should only make it surrender. That should be death by crew loss before flooding or anything else. But I mean, it's not a disaster if it sinks. I am gonna target it with the torpedoes though. Not because I want to actually hit it, but because I want to hit the escorts clustering around it. Took out the tower on Belfast. "10-kilometer torpedoes. Are you all the same?" 20-kilometer. No, you're not all the same. 20. 10. So the ones with 2 torpedo launchers have the long-range torpedoes. Lapwing sinks. Nubian is the next target for the battlecruiser. And it seems those 12-inch guns are just perfect for taking out destroyers. That is nice to see. I did launch torpedoes though before sinking. What was your target? Can I see that when you're sunk? CL. Mehmed Pasha. Okay, so we're just gonna have to maneuver you a bit. That's not a big deal. Yeah, those torpedoes missed all the escorts. Merrick has torpedoes too. Good step. It's fine. I'm not gonna hit my battlecruiser. Don't worry. No problem. Now let's just turn it this way. Yeah, those torps are not going anywhere near those ships. So the secondary battery on these cruisers is very much aft focused for this exact purpose. Got a flash fire on Belfast. And I think that's the end of Belfast. Switch main guns to surprise secondaries on Chelmer. Uh-oh. Can we avoid all of this? I think we can. It's gonna be close. Ah. Took that one. Merrick is going in on that destroyer. But Surprise is closing in on Merrick. I've lost my torpedoes. They would have been nice to have. Tep actually has suffered engine damage from that one torpedo hit. That is very annoying. We can only do 24 knots now. Luckily, Surprise does not carry torpedoes. And the secondaries for that matter. A and B turrets cannot fire over the shoulder like that. There we go. "12-inch guns are doing a bit more work than the 7.5s on Merrick. Tip, you're going home. Merrick, you're turning off your main guns. See if we can make this transport surrender without sinking it. The Nith. Yeah, that's obviously a very special ship. Range guns are opening up. %, crew loss, 21. There we go. Great. Just as planned. Now, those two battlecruisers, Girtep and Dees, suffered very, very minor damage. But they still have to be repaired, so we are over capacity again. Which means that something has to be suspended. It's probably gonna be this one. There we go. Yeah. USA building 49 ships, France 59. I think they completed some construction this turn. Britain 27. Scandinavia 12. They're still fighting China. Have they they should just open a naval invasion here of South Hokkaido and just finish that entire war. My army's here, and that's not gonna work. Not with the US supporting the French. Sulawesi, are you available for a naval invasion this turn? No, I don't think you are. But you're gonna be, because I'm sending some ships there. Izmir, what are you gonna do? What am I gonna do with you? It's hard to like hover over this destroyer because that sidebar thing is in the way. Destination Arabian Sea. Yeah, so it's probably going here then. Anything else I can fight? It's a huge British task force coming over here. This one is going right between the U and the T in Southeast Asia. Come on. So like here. That is a decent sized snack for a battlecruiser. These guys are just going kind of back and forth. Yeah, they're gonna take Niger from me. I might take Cameroon from the British. Well, what are we gonna do with you? Send you to a port somewhere, maybe. Generate some missions. Uh, Cape Town, maybe. Yeah. That should work. Alright, then. Are we getting anything interesting? 6 months away from Mark 5 17s. Slightly better armor, slightly lighter armor. That is useful. So very late game, when you're done with all the gun tech research and the engines and stuff, what you actually want to do is spend all your free priorities on the techs that make your ships lighter, like hull construction and hull strengthening and stuff. Things that makes armor lighter and hull form better and stuff like that. So that when you go to refit your ships, you don't end up with them just suddenly becoming overweight. Because you have a lot of technology that's just automatically getting rolled in to the refit. Like you have after automatic gun reload 2, you have some repeatable text that give you slightly faster rate of fire, but at the cost of making your guns quite a bit heavier. So you want to have the text that the repeatable text that make your ships lighter. You want to have those outpace the ones that make them heavier. Okay, we're being struck here. We are striking here, but not a battle. I wanted a battle. Not just some damage to a port. Here's a battle. It's a small one, though. We're fighting one light cruiser and a destroyer with 2 light cruisers of our own. Small ones. Right. That's like some kind of Atlanta class or something. 27.5. 32. What are you? Six-inch guns. I completely forgotten about this class, but it's evidently been refit recently because it's got radar too. I'm being outspotted. Even with radar too, the tower spotting on these things, so it's kind of bad. Let's take a look at what we're up against. Brush, 9.4 kilometer torpedoes. Chevalier, 5.4 inch guns. And some 4.2s here. 5.4s are Mark 5. Wait a minute. Are those single turrets? Yeah, they are. That's why they're the tiny turrets. I got the 4-inch guns as actually not secondaries. They also count as primaries in the much bigger turrets. See, you have no torpedoes. I do. Let's launch them before they get blown up. Because you have no torpedoes, we can just keep sailing parallel like this. And hopefully you're not gonna notice the torpedoes before it's too late. And it's looking good. They have detected my torpedoes. Are they gonna get stupidly lucky? No, actually. Yes, actually. We got one torpedo hit though. Did quite a bit of damage, blowing off the stern. And they lost quite a few 5-inch, 5.4-inch guns from that. What kind of armor do you have? Very deck focused. There's some serious deck armor on that thing. Luckily, we're not firing at it with battleships from 40 kilometers away. Although battleships from 40 kilometers away should still be able to just butter this thing. What I'm saying is at this range, I don't care about the deck armor. Taking out the tower too. How much do you cost? 472 million. That's quite a bit more than my two cruisers combined. Yeah, you're gonna sink. Money not well spent by the US Navy on that thing. The brush, on the other hand, very reasonably priced. Keep an eye on those torpedoes. Closing in, but not quickly enough. Not with two engines out and flooding. Luckily I have sonar. I saw those torpedoes coming a mile away. Are you gonna sink soon? Surrender, actually. Right. I mean, that's decent. Veve with the 7.5s did a lot more than Eldek with the 6s. But, I mean, they both performed well. The 6-inch guns actually did a lot more to the destroyer. 7-inch guns, of course, did... Right. 6-inch guns did more to the cruiser as well? Okay, Veve actually did the most because of that torpedo hit. Never mind. Alright. It wasn't the guns. It was the torpedo. Right, there's a lot of stuff to do this this month. This is not a battle I want to do. I sent you here to encounter some cruisers. Not... Well, there are cruisers here, but there's also a battleship. And generally a lot more than I want to deal with. Not with the Izmir. Luckily, I can just withdraw. This one we have to fight. I don't want to auto-resolve it, because that'll result in all of my battleships being sunk for some reason. Alright, I sent all my capital ships away. Not just to give this thing a fair fight, but because I want to have them conserve ammunition. Because they're kind of running short. I also turned their guns off, just in case this battle ended up being closer to the battleships. The Murad 2 has pretty much done nothing in any of the battles this task force has been in. Just launched some torpedoes and sailed away. So she's got plenty of ammo. And torpedoes. I brought along 3 of my heavy cruisers too. They also got decent amounts of ammunition. And those 10-inch guns should be able to deal with this light cruiser. Cardiff. Minus 13.9 draft. Now they detected the torpedoes. Torps got very close before the enemy detected them. And there we go. 1 hit. Lots of hits. 5 hits. Alright. I guess I didn't need the heavy cruisers. Right, and next up is this one. The Avus class with the 17.5s up against the Velante class battleship. 16 19.3 inch guns. Ceres, we've seen these before. They were kind of disappointing. Cervilante, that's not identified yet. 2x2? What's this? Some kind of huge pre-dreadnought? Anyway, I think this will have to wait for the next episode. And I hope you have a very Merry Christmas. There will of course be a little break in the uploads until after the Christmas holidays, but I'll probably be back before New Year's with a couple episodes before 2026. Goodbye, take care, and have a Merry Christmas.